everyone, and welcome. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who are joining for the very first time, my name is Tamra, and I am your host here at Bohemian Magic. And I wanted to just briefly talk about cutting energetic cords. This is something that a lot of people have heard, in some type of spiritual context, or you may have been encouraged by somebody to try and cut energetic cords. What are they? Why do you need to cut them? And how do you cut them? So first of all, for those of you who believe in metaphysics, for those of you that believe in energetics, that you believe that we have energetic bodies and there is more than meets the eye, for those of you that have had those inklings, of perception that something might happen, or you might feel a particular vibe or energy in a space that you go into, all of these things are energetics. And what are cords? So if you want to think about energy, so if I have energy and you have energy, and say we go walking down the street. As we walk down the street, we're going to come in contact, most likely, let's say it's a busy street, with a variety of different people, which means a variety of different energies. Every single person that we pass, there is going to be some type of energetic meshing of sorts. So when you look at the spiritual arts and you look at particular practices like yoga, qigong, tai chi, meditation, other energetic practices that people are taking account in their life to either cleanse or nourish energy, cutting cords is a concept that we're going to talk about in just a moment once we explore this a little bit better. So I want to use Qigong as an example because in Qigong, which is kind of a way of being, and there is the yin and yang elements of practice. So you have things that are more physical that you're practicing in terms of postures and exercises and things like that, as well as the more yin aspects of like healing and the metaphysics. But let's just look at the physical practice, for example, called dredging. In Qigong, you will actually do a daily physical practice to dredge the energy, to get rid of the energy, to drop, to shake out the energy that you have picked up during the day through coming in contact with certain environments and people and your own energetic thoughts. You're then going to replace this energy by filling yourself up with nourishing kind of movements that help you to draw the energy from the earth and the universe to replenish what you're expelling. So if you want to look at it this way, every thought that you have is energy, and it's either going to be positive or negative. Every action that you have is going to create energy, either positive or negative. Every person you come in contact with is going to have an energetic component, positive or negative. Now, the varying degree of energetic exchange, are all relative. So there's a completely huge fluctuation of infinite potential in terms of how much of exchange of energy you have, depending on the narrative of your mind, your physical, spiritual wellness capacity, your engagement with others during the day, and just, there's so many variables. So that's why practices like meditation, yoga, qigong can be extremely helpful in keeping your energetic body aligned and in an optimal state where you're not subjecting yourself to an abundance of things that are going to detract from your wellness. And so the more aligned you are, the more you root yourself in a regular practice, the more potential you're going to have to stay grounded and to stay aware, so that you're not putting yourself in positions where you're going to be losing energy from others, or where you're going to be subject to an abundance of negative things. In fact, you'll be more accustomed to going towards things that are more nourishing. You'll know when you need to take a break. You'll know when the environment is not conducive to your overall spiritual well-being, and you won't subject yourself to those things. Now, of course, we all are going to be subject to certain things, no matter how perfect, your daily discipline and thought process and physical practice is. You might be walking down the street and somebody gets plowed by a car, and now all of a sudden you're subject to this trauma. So clearly, this is like a more dramatic example, but the energy, the impact of your thoughts, your own physical response, and then the energetics of the people that are in proximity to you, all of that energy is going to somehow affect you. So techniques like dredging, right, and Qigong help to expel that negative energy, expel that anxious response, expel that challenging environment that has kind of become glued to you by you just being a subject of being present during something like that. Energy of having conversations with people where they just drain you and you feel negative because their own vibration, they're not taking care of themselves, or they might be going through a challenging time, or you're more emotionally connected to the person. This is very challenging with loved ones, family, and friends. It can be very burdensome, especially if you're, subject to this and like in your home and you don't have an opportunity to leave. Maybe you're too young. Maybe there just isn't, an option. Maybe you're taking care of a child or something like that that's not well. Maybe you work in a place where there's a lot of heavy energy. You could work at like a care facility or something like that in the West, where there's a lot of turmoil in terms of mental, spiritual, physical well-being. So whether it's your direct environment or whether it's an external environment that you just so happen to participate in during the day, there's still some type of energetic exchange that's happening. And it can be in a very, very tiny level. It can be like, you're very happy and then you go to, a class or something like that after the end of your day, and people there are just really bummed out. Everything is energy and everything is vibration. So if you come in contact with really heavy people, like sometimes you'll just notice you feel fine, and then you go somewhere and just by the very nature of walking into that space, you feel fatigued or you feel overwhelmed or you feel anxious or something just feels off. It's like going into different rooms in your dwelling, in the place that you live. You can feel different vibrations in different places. This is why practices like Feng Shui are so relative and relevant and important for health in all ways, and they can make such a dramatic difference. It's like having excess clutter or dirt or disorganization all takes away from your ability for your consciousness to remain clear and open and able to vibrate in the highest capacity. This is why discipline is really important. When you discipline yourself to do things immediately and don't let them pile up, you leave a lot more creative space within your energetic field in order to flourish and make good, positive, healthy choices and invite things into your life that are going to be positive. So now let's talk about chords. So these environments that you're in, these people that are in your life, and sometimes they can be distant, but because energy is energy, it doesn't necessarily matter whether or not you're in one country to the next. If you have somebody in your life that is constantly weighing on your consciousness, or there's some type of interaction that's heavy, or let's say that you live in one country and you have an unwell family member in another country, and you feel like you don't have the ability to help, or you feel like you don't have the ability to make ends meet in a way that can be more prosperous for the two of you. Say that you're in a long distance relationship and the person that you love is overseas, or say it's as simple as, knowing somebody is struggling financially and you yourself don't also have the means to help that other individual. It's just having strings. It's like, you can imagine, it's like, that telephone game when you're a kid where you have the tin can and you have like the rope in between, and you're putting, one neighbor and the other tin in the other neighbor, and there's like a vibration that goes through that string. So these are energetic chords. Whenever you are having an experience or an exchange of energy with anybody, whether it's a thought, or whether it's being in close proximity, you can have these chords, like these energetic impressions, these it's like weaving certain elements of your energetic self together. And because time and distance are essentially almost an illusion in certain respects, time and distance don't make a difference in terms of your energetic soul ties or binds to one another. So a chord is essentially an energy that attaches yourself and someone else, or yourself and an experience, or yourself and a thought. And so one way that you can work on cutting energetic cords or preventing energetic cords is, like I said, having a daily practice of dredging, that or meditation or yoga, where you're concentrated on releasing energy that you have picked up throughout the day, whether it be thoughts or in a physical environment, or spiritual, doesn't even necessarily have to be in your conscious, it could be in the subconscious realms. So you have some type of physical practice that you participate in daily. Again, Qigong and dredging is very powerful for that, but that you also have a practice that's going to raise your vibration. And you can do this through having a disciplined day, making sure you're doing the proper things for yourself, body, mind, and spirit, and having good hygiene, not only for your body and yourself, but also good hygiene in your living environment, and trying to protect your energy to not put yourself in environments where there's going to be a lot of heavy types of energy as much as is possible. The other thing is having a good meditation practice and having positive affirmations or mantras or things like this that keep your vibration high. One thing you can do is listen to like healing frequency music, like what we have playing in the background here. Specific frequencies help to manage different things in terms of your cellular level. I do believe firmly that in the future, a lot of the healing techniques will be sound driven. So sound is very healing and important, and will also help to keep your vibration really vibrant, and a lot less likely for things to have a strong impact in terms of connecting to you. Now, how do you cut cords? Specifically, one thing that you can do, and something that I was taught years ago, is a particular meditation where you're creating a ritual. And the ritual helps to instill something and make it stronger in your mind, because it's at the forefront of your thought. It's really strongly in your consciousness, and you're doing something that has a physical element, that it's created in real space-time, and it also has metaphysical components. So you're really activating various parts and sides of yourself to be able to do this. So what you'd like to do is create a time, and this can be morning, evening, or night, and you want to try and make it at the same time. Okay, like there are spiritual times that are more advantageous than others. Like, 3 a.m. is the witching hour, but like 3 p.m. is like the hour of Christ. So you could try and do the ritual, like, let's say at like 3 p.m. And if that's not optimal, maybe you want to do it at like 7 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something like this, or 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. There's specific hours that are more conducive for different things, or even 1 p.m., which is like more in the time of the heart. So you want to just pick a time that works for you, that you can be consistent at. If you can't do it at the same time every day for 3 days in a row, don't beat yourself up. It's just best that you do it versus not do it. And it's something that you're creating a conscious action towards. But you want to say, you can do something like have a candle, or you can light. I have a little beeswax candle here. And you could potentially create a little altar. Say on your altar you put a deity or a saint or an image of something that's really inspiring, like a lotus flower. Perhaps you'll have an image of Christ or the Virgin Mary or some other saint or deity that you ascribe to. I just have the Kuan Yin cards here, so I picked this up as an example. And you might want to put a little candle and create a little sacred space where you can sit before, and you can offer a prayer to this this beautiful soul, this beautiful energy and consciousness And you can try and connect with them and ask them to be there, to be your guide and presence. It could be God, in God's entirety, and it doesn't have to be a specific soul, but basically you're not doing this alone. And the idea is that you're not doing this alone. And so you're calling on the energy of the cosmos, or the energy of the universe, or the energy of a particular saint or soul or consciousness that can guide you. And you ask them to be with you, and you can even visualize yourself being like embraced by their light. You can visualize yourself literally like holding their hand. And then what you want to do is visualize around your body. So you visualize around your body. You can close your eyes. You can sit and meditate. The idea is to try and still yourself from out and not having like those vibrations of fear. Just get to like a space inside yourself. Use these healing musics. Read yourself something that softens your energy. Connect with who makes you feel precious and loved and safe. And just know that you're doing this in a way that is beautiful, and that you're not alone in this. And this is something that's normal and natural and happens to every single person. So it's nothing to be afraid of. Everybody has like these energetic attachments. Just most people don't put an active effort in creating, energetic hygiene around themselves. So you just end up carrying all of this sludge because you're not putting a conscious effort towards keeping your own energy intact and keeping other people's energies outside of you. Okay? So it's very natural. Like everybody has energetic cords. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's just like you'll function at a much higher vibration if you learn to keep yourself clear of being connected to other people's energies. It's a huge thing that happens to empaths. If your heart is open and you're around a lot of other people, it's quite natural for you to absorb other people's energy, and it can even be confusing as to what's yours and what's others. I've struggled a lot with this in my life, so this kind of practice is really, really powerful and important. And the more you do this, the more you strengthen it in your mind, and it's like a natural default that you go to. So what you can do is for 3 days in a row, you sit in front of your prepared little altar. You light a candle. If that feels good, you can offer a flower, a prayer. Just sit, become centered. You close your eyes. You go into a more of a meditative state. You focus on the ajna, which is the seat of the soul, the third eye. And what you want to do is try and visualize, if it's Christ, if it's an angel, if it's the cosmos, if it's a guru or deity, whomever, they're in your third eye. And then what you want to do is imagine them with you, providing you with strength, providing you with light. And then you can visualize yourself with like this amazing, gigantic sword. It's like this sword of truth, this sword of light. And you can just imagine all of the little details, like what does it feel like to hold this handle? What are the engravings? What kind of steel? What is it made out of? Like, what is the texture? What is the temperature of the blade? Like, how does it feel to hold this? What is the weight? And you want to make it as vibrant, as real as possible. And I like to look at my sword as if it's got like a fire of light in it and a fire of truth. And then I visualize these cords to, the people in my life, the places that I've been, the environments that I've come in contact with. And I take this sword and I use the energy not only from myself, but from who I am ascribing to, who I'm praying and feeling the guidance and the safety and the support with. And I take this and I cut. And it's like sometimes when you're cutting, you will feel like this, like it's like a tenderness, like real live living cord. And you want to just chop it away, chop with that knife, with that sword of truth, until you feel that energetic cord is severed. And sometimes you'll just have one great swoop and it'll be cut. Other times it'll take you a few days to feel like you've really, really cut that cord, and you want to take it out by its roots and just feel that your energetic body is just completely clear of any other energies around you. Okay? So that's what that is. And I'm going to do, another video on what things that you can do, techniques that you can do to increase your energetic field so it's more protected. But I hope that this helped. Remember, everything is energy. There's absolutely nothing to be scared of. Everybody has energetic cords. Everybody has energetic interference. All of everything is energy. So make sure that you're taking good care of your hygiene and that type of thing too. I also have to, add a disclaimer here. All of these videos are technically for entertainment purposes only. We're talking about energetic spheres and realms. Always seek professional help and guidance. If you feel that there's something that's very poignant that you need help with, always seek professional help. This is just meant to be a little bit of information and hopefully can serve you in some way or another. If you found this video interesting, please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you think. Have you heard of energetic cords before? Have you practiced anything that helps to cut energetic cords before? And just, what do you think about that? And if you've heard of other techniques and other things that you can do, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I just want to let you know I appreciate you so much. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.